Hey everyone, this is Pollymacho, and before we begin talking about the subject of this video, Cruelty Squad, I just want to give a heads up saying this is going to be quite a strange recommendation. It's a video game, but you will see very soon this is going to be perhaps one of the strangest you have come across in a while. We are leaving mainstream norms and entering into the equivalent of an existential crisis, so grab a drink or something to bring with you on this metaphorical trip as we take a look at Cruelty Squad. Our tale begins with our nameless protagonist buck naked in the shower. From a camera change, we visualize our player character and can tell right away he is not a fulfilled person with those looks in his eyes. But that might soon change when we get a call from our future employer, asking if he woke us up from our depression nap and offering a job similar to our previous SEC death unit gig. It's not perfect, but it's most likely to take us from our slump. Our character has a hired hitman, but with a corporate mindset. And after this cutscene, the game begins. The look of Cruelty Squad is easily one of the most out there presentations I've ever seen, and I'm sure it is for you as well, making you feel like you're being submerged into a rabbit hole full of organs and postmodern irony. Everything in this game has this strange blending of sharp features and this smear of color and textures. Color palettes are so out there with combinations that throw off the eyes and look like the throw up of someone who ate a clown and all of the neon highlighters at Walmart. Menus and sound effects have this quality that make you squirm in your chair when you activate them, coming across as monstrous. Gunfire makes this deep and unsettling noise, especially the shotgun, with low bellowing sounds that seem to blare out when fired. The music is unconventional and unappealing, yet enchanting with how ghastly it is. There was this one level where I was storming an armory and the combat music was so obnoxious and attention-grabbing. When sound effects were incorporated in the song, I would flail my camera to the direction I believed it to be coming from. Talking to NPCs opens a text box and displays an image of a mouth animated with the text, playing a sound clip rapidly repeated until the person just looks at you with this smug grin. Your life bar is this pulpy looking mass that simply says life and a number to go with it. Nearly every aspect of this game comes across as disgusting, grotesque, and filthy. And I love it so much for that. It's like an abstract painting you would see at the museum. The colors are at odds with each other, the shapes confuse you, and you can't tell if that's supposed to be a chair or a person. And as much as I'm saying this is absolutely horrendous and intoxicating, it's entirely 100% intentional. With some media like movies, shows, games, or whatever, you might have this feeling of something being done incorrectly, or just feeling off but can't quite articulate it. Maybe the camera is oddly placed, or the acting feels weird, or the gameplay is really standard and not super interesting. But then there are points where something definitely feels off, but is created in a way that is actively trying to mess with you. And that is a difficult balance to walk because attempts to skillfully subvert artistic staples, if done without careful construction and an understanding of what you're changing, results can come across as sloppy. It's a very subjective subject on playing with creative tropes or aspects. I have no idea if there's an actual science behind it, but occasionally you can notice moments where it makes sense.
Larry? Are you alright?
The show Darkplace is a parody of hospital dramas and horror shows. It has so many moments that come across as poorly done by amateurs. But suppose you're looking at the show from an experience or passion of filmmaking. In that case, you might discover a lot of the errors in the show are intentional. They are actually really hard to pull off, especially as the show within the show is created by a discount Stephen King character claiming to be the main star, director, writer, etc. The point is, it's tough to make something well that is trying to come across as poorly made, but Cruelty Squad pulls it off very well. And this unappealing look actually works really well with the setting and theme of the game. The world and environment of Cruelty Squad can be summed up into a simple phrase. Holy shit, we are screwed. The backdrop of this game is so oppressively bleak, it's nearly comical. It's a hyper-obsessive setting imbued with an extra large-sized form of capitalism. It's to a point in the in-game environment where human organs are sold on the stock market, with a fluctuating growth and decay. Not just replaceable organs, it is in addition to things like the human brain, the heart, or the stomach. On one level, there's this guy who says something along the lines of, "I know people are upset about the idea of biocurrency. It's just evolution." The population in the game are consumers who are constantly buying things for the sake that they are worth buying and not because they want them. Marketing will point to a product and the population will be all for it. Most of your targets in the game will be CEOs or people in power who only a few days ago were on the opposite side of the hit, requesting you to kill others instead. But in this setting, loyalty can be bought, compassion is vacated for consumerism, and love is traded in for a fleshy organ you got on the stock market. It pulses and it oozes, so it's close enough, right? It's also a game where society has gone numb, a cold indifference to the world around it. You were sent to kill the governor at a large shopping mall on one level, and immediately after, the next mission involves the police breaking down your door, and your employer now points his fat, stubby fingers and vitriol onto you. During the level, your target is your landlord. He is relatively lax about the police storming into and the sudden corpses on his floors, and no matter how many people you kill outside of your landlord, the next mission prep text is your employer saying someone fat-fingered the button linked to your house as a security threat, then immediately your boss brushes it off like a casual comment asking how the weather is today. You can shoot anyone on the level during other missions, even random civilians that do nothing wrong. There is no consequence for this action. It's almost encouraged, because any corpse on the map can be eaten for 1 health point. Yes, 1 health point. The human body is not as nutritious as a slice of pizza, but it'll have to do. And you can grab organs off bodies to make sweet bank. But it doesn't matter how many lives are lost. All that matters is a CEO mindset. Climb the tower of success, put everything you have into reaching your highest potential in your field. If you're a dealer in death, deal it with a capital D. Put it on your business cards, make it in imposing font, and when you finally clawed your way up the tower on the bones of your competitors, you can look down and realize all of your hard work is paid off. You have made it, and everything will be perfect from here on. Yeah, that's the setting of Cruelty Squad. It's fair to say it's a bit bleak, and I'm no Spider Jerusalem, but I hope that gave a good mental image of the game besides the visuals I have been providing for this video. Now that we've got the depressing setting described, let's go into the part that makes the game really good. Okay, so now you might be asking, Macho, or Alex, or whatever. That sounds depressing as hell. Why would I want to subject myself to such a video game? And to that I say, because the gameplay is absolutely fantastic and grotesque. Cruelty Squad is a first-person shooter. The point of view will be from our assassin with a case of consumer depression, but the controls and additions to this game make it go from an odd art piece to a mechanically satisfying experience. Playing this game with a mouse and keyboard, you will use the WASD keys to move and the left mouse to shoot. Pretty basic stuff so far. Well, where it gets awesome is that your Q and E keys allow you to lean around the left and right direction, allowing you to peek and see what's around the corner. The F key lets you perform a kick, which you can use to break down doors or kick enemies, resulting in them bouncing around the room. The R key lets you take the ammo and change weapons on the ground. If you do so for bodies, you can consume 1 hit point, resulting in a gore explosion where you can pick up body parts and sell them on the stock market for cash. But here's a super dope mechanic. When you shoot your gun, the sound will change depending on how much ammo is in the clip. To reload, rather than just pressing a button, you hold down the right mouse and move it down to the indicated line. And with that, your gun is reloaded and you are ready to unleash your skill of death. Talking about how amazing this is may sound extremely odd. Like, why are you explaining the controls, dude? But when you get your hands on it, it feels so fresh and unique. It's tough to get the hang of at first, but once you do, it feels incredible and you feel so much more evolved in this control scheme. Now, in any first-person game I play, if I can't peek around corners, it feels like a vital component is missing for me. So now that we've got the controls over with, let's talk about the format of a level. Each level is treated as a sandbox, asking you to take care of one or multiple targets. Your goal is to do so, then book it to the exit seen as a bright and slightly terrifying wall of text. So it's a basic kill dude then bail, but you can approach it however you prefer, either kicking the dude to death or sniping him from afar or shotgunning the dude right next to him. You can't go wrong. When you first start the game, it can feel pretty limiting how to approach levels. Usually you'll go through doors until you come across your target and then leave. But where it gets really spicy is with the augmentations. The augmentations, or the implants, can be applied to 4 parts. The heavenly quad body, if you will. The head, the chest, the arms, and the legs. And most are grotesquely horrifying as they are inserted into your body to function. These can really change the way you play, which sounds like something you would read on the back of a box, only to discover its minimal stat increases. But here, it really affects gameplay. Implants can be customized to fit your approach to gameplay, some immediately positive ones, like improving your aim or making it harder for enemies to discover you with camouflage armor. But some could give more positive and negative effects, like increasing your speed but decreasing your armor, making you almost like a glass cannon that can be shattered with being spit on, or the nightmare goggles, which let you see in the dark. Bitchin'. The problem is that everything is infrared, changing your map's entire look. And then you have some that completely change how you move, such as the Grapendix, a long strand of intestines that can be applied to fly around the map and traverse around throughout impossible areas. It's like swinging on webs like Spider-Man, only with your intestines. I highly recommend getting this upgrade as soon as you can. It will completely change how you approach traversal in levels. Or the Gunkbusters, that are these exhaust-looking pipes implanted onto your character's back, taking away your ability to kick in exchange for a speed dash whenever you press F. You also leave some goop around, which is kind of fun. The augmentations are disgusting, expensive, and a lot of fun. They really spice up the gameplay and are delightful to play around with. Because the game is structured as level-based, there are always secrets to discover, alternate routes to a target, secret passages, health items, hidden weapons, and augmentations. There's always more to learn, and the active replayability makes it so much more tantalizing. But the rule is, if you find a really cool weapon or augmentation, you have to have it on your person when you exit a level, or else it's gone. And with that, let's talk about the biggest deal breakers. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know an experience like this is definitely not something everybody is into. I had to settle for a mirror instead. It is a very straightforward introduction from the look to the sound to the subject matter. Either you jive with it or you don't. And that might seem like a bad thing, but I don't think so, because it's so out there and doing its own thing. It's one of those things where if it does click for someone, they can really appreciate it more than something more tame and mainstream. It can cut deeper than other works, and that's great. However, one point that can be a red flag that might make you abandon ship is the difficulty. For a couple of videos, I've been mentioning difficulty as one of the main downsides to a game. Still, Cruelty Squad is unapologetically brutal, and I find it really hard to claim it as a positive. I think what really makes this prevalent is death. Like I mentioned earlier, when you die, you start all the way at the beginning of the level with your original loadout. With previous knowledge of replaying or just better equipment, going through levels aren't quite as bad, but in that opening level and occasionally later on, oh boy do you feel it. It's like the video game equivalent of getting your head bashed into a brick wall. Your head may just break through if you keep going, but it's not enjoyable right away. But as you begin to lose the feeling of your forehead, you realize that the wall actually smells really lovely, and you begin to produce cracks into the surface. Hell, I just finished the first ending and have been playing a couple of the extra levels, and I keep having moments where it's really hard, and I usually quit and go to my desktop saying, dude, fuck this. But there's a reason I keep coming back to this game despite its difficulty, and if you give it a shot, you might just have it too. Cruelty Squad is a unique first-person shooter with one-of-a-kind style and fresh gameplay if you can stomach the atmosphere and the difficulty. I've left a link to the Steam page if you want to give it a shot, and if not, thanks a whole bunch for watching anyway. My name here on YouTube is Pollymacho. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more when I upload, feel free to subscribe and click the bell icon next to it, or if you want to see other stuff I've covered, check out some of these other videos. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.